What is up, members of the Barrio? John coming to you from Merida after spending a week in Mexico City. It is time to discuss Mexico City versus New York City. Similarities, differences, got a whole lot to talk about. If you're new to this channel, I want to make sure that you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of my adventures from 4 months in Mexico. I just got back from a week in Mexico City. I've spent probably about 2 months living there in the past year, where I've lived in New York City for over 6 years. So I think I've got a pretty good basis of comparison. I'm going to tell you what I like and what I don't like about each of the cities. And I'm not going to tell you which one I like better. I'll let you guys decide. Tell me in the comments which city you prefer, but I'm just going to provide some good food for thought. Let's start with cost of living, and in general, I find New York City to be about twice as expensive as Mexico City for most things. Let's start with an apartment, for example. In Condesa, in Mexico City, one of their nicest neighborhoods, you could easily get a 2-bedroom apartment for about $1,000 a month, where in New York City, my apartment in Greenwich Village cost 1.5 times that and was way smaller. As far as grocery shopping, that's another thing that Mexico City easily wins on. In New York City, especially Manhattan, I was spending well over $100 on many shopping trips for my brother and I. There was actually one thing that I did spend more money on in Mexico City than New York, and that was my gym in Roma Norte for whatever reason. Let's move on to weather, and Mexico City has a pretty mild climate. In the summer, it doesn't generally go over 85 degrees Fahrenheit. In the winter, yeah, you're probably going to be needing a jacket at night, but it doesn't get as cold as it does in New York City during the winter. And in the summer, New York City has hot and humid weather, not always a fun place to be. Autumns and springs, though, are very nice in New York. Generally speaking, the weather is better in Mexico City, minus all the air pollution. What about the people living in Mexico City and New York? Well, I think that New York City residents do get an unfair reputation for being cold, for being rude, for, not stopping to take the time to give you directions if you're in need. I think that reputation is absolutely false. There are some very nice people in New York City. However, most of the Mexicans I have run into have been so warm, so friendly. Even taking Ubers around Mexico City, a lot of times drivers would welcome me as a foreigner and thank me for visiting Mexico. So I definitely think, as far as the people are concerned and friendliness, Mexico City has some of the warmest folks that I've ever met. Food, glorious food. Well, Mexico City definitely beats New York City in terms of Mexican food. I mean, you can get amazing street tacos generally anywhere, and I have been impressed by some of the selection in Mexico City. I've had great sushi. They've got options for Thai food, Indian food, but New York City's New York City. I mean, in New York City, you could find an Uzbeki Korean restaurant. I found it in Brighton Beach. And New York City has some of the most diverse cuisine from all over the world, from every single country. So as far as food's concerned, I think you are far more likely to find more diverse choices in New York City, although Mexico City definitely has some cool spots. Transportation. The subway system in New York City is one of the best in the world, albeit confusing. For $2.75, you can go pretty far from just about any point in New York City to any other point. Where Mexico City, one subway ride would cost you just 5 pesos, 25 cents US, and Ubers are extremely, extremely cheap. I remember looking at my Uber receipts for rides that went 10 or 15 minutes and only spending $3 or $4. Traffic. Mexico City, yeah, you guys have got to work on that one. Culture. This one's tough because New York City is known throughout the world as having some of the best culture, period. Mexico City, though, does have more museums, 150 to New York City's 100. But come on, New York City's got Broadway, and it has museums that are some of the best anywhere, period. Although if you do come to Mexico City, I recommend you check out a show at Palacio Bellas Artes. Safety, and this one is a big concern, especially for people visiting Mexico for the first time. Mexico City has some incredible neighborhoods that are quite safe, Roma, Condesa, Polanco, to name a few, but I absolutely feel safer walking around by myself at night in New York City than I do in Mexico City. There is more street crime in Mexico City, However, I'm not discouraging you from visiting. I'm just saying be as aware of your surroundings in Mexico City as you would be in New York City, if not more so. And if you're not familiar with the neighborhood, take an Uber or taxi home for sure. Beauty. Mexico City has some very old, charming neighborhoods, but I mean, New York City's New York City, and it also helps that it is right alongside a few rivers like the Hudson River, the East River. You go to Brooklyn, you can get incredible shots of New York City. It's been in so many movies, so I'm gonna give beauty hands down to New York City as the iconic metropolis anywhere in the world. Overall, I'm not telling you which city is better. In fact, I'm curious in the comments you tell me which city you prefer, or which one you visited, what did you like, what didn't you like. Let's have a good discussion. I'm curious what you think. Subscribe if you are new to this channel. I've got a lot more content coming out from Mexico. I'm gonna be here until March, so we have so many cool episodes coming up. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. No.